welcome back to Calling the Audible. It is the final week of games, or we're going into the final turn of games coming up.
I know your camera's there, right?
I know. I'm looking at you because I think get your approval that we're off to a good start.
And put screen 3 on, please.
Oh, yeah. I should do that.
As we are in the final 10 days of regular season action, and it really becomes thick and fast when it comes to the playoff run that we'll have in early August. For those who see myself, I'm here, but PZ's not. He's overseas in Europe. Is he in the Baltic Seas right now?
I actually think he's not there yet. I think he's getting on
flight?
a plane tonight.
Okay, so he's heading towards. Is he going to the Mediterranean or the Baltic?
Barcelona, I think.
He's going to the Mediterranean.
Starting there and then like down the Amalfi Coast.
Right.
Yeah.
We should do like a tracker. Like Daniel Snyder of the Washington Commanders is this
just
dude who has tracked his yacht off the coast of France because he's been subpoenaed, right? And so long story short, they've been tracking where he is. Where's Dan Snyder today? He's here. Where is he today? We should do that with Pease, put GPS on him.
That's just having his phone on.
Yeah.
We can do that.
So as long as Snyder never gets on land, he's good, basically?
Well, I don't. Anyway, it's not the show.
Because he
here.
will. You know he will.
He will get subpoenaed, but there's a lot of red tape right now about what can or can't be said because of what he has agreed upon. Anyway, that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about FPF. Iggy Magnus is here with us, replacing Peasy for the next fortnight of shows here. Eagle.
Hellos.
Hello. We'll be joined by the Div E writer, Joel Mendelson, in a few minutes here to talk about Division E, as we'll lead off with that. We'll get into a few things here. The quick announcement, though, it's been announced that the Fall Cup will begin September 6th, which is a Tuesday, and that will be, again, a short turnover of a layoff for all of us, but we'll truck along here in 2022.
That's how we do it.
Last time I checked, we weren't evil, but apparently there ain't no rest for the wicked.
No, there isn't, because in theory, we've been going literally since 6 months straight.
Yep.
And we'll get a 3-week vacation, which it is what it is.
We didn't even have the Mike Roy barbecue yet.
I know. We haven't. By the way, so September 6th, registration is going to be officially... Is it open now, or will it be open as of next week?
No, it says details to come. Registrations open soon. I will know more Friday morning.
Okay, so end of the week. So early next week, we'll have a clear idea when you can start signing up your teams for the Fall Cup, which will be September, October, November, and we'll be done by end of November-ish, I would imagine.
Great question.
Fingers
I'll
crossed.
find out on Friday.
Fingers crossed there's no hiccups with that particular virus going on right now. Also, a reminder of the playoffs. You need how many games, Iggy?
It's 5.
5. Not 4, but 5.
However, if you do have 4 games played and you missed a week where your team played a double header, that's where we're making an exception where you could be granted 1 game played, thereby giving you the 5 games. So if you have 4 games played and you missed a week where there was a double header, doesn't necessarily have to be 2 games on Monday night, has to be 2 games within the same week, you can get 1 game played and therefore get 5 games played and therefore be playoff eligible.
Obviously, Iggy's having a problem with the clock here, as I will correct the issue
good
here.
now.
Is it good now?
It is.
Perfect.
It's running.
Even
it's
better.
Running. Yeah.
And finally, we talk about the doubleheaders. Of course, you mentioned that before, Iggy. And also, just double-check your rosters. I've been expressing this the last couple of weeks on the Facebook site as well on this show with you guys. Please double-check that your players have the correct amount of games played, because it always happens at the end of each season. We get emails, Eagle, saying, hey, Joe Smith played 5 games. He was there for this game but didn't report to the scorekeeper. Well, that's not our problem here,
Well, actually, it's more fun now because I'm going to say, did you submit your roster online? And I'm going to go check to see if you submitted it. And if he's not on the list, I'm going to say you're full of shit.
There you go. Exactly.
Now I can actually do that. Beforehand, it was benefit of the doubt. Now I can say you're full of shit.
Exactly. So please double-check your roster because we're going to the final swing of games here, and that's it. That's all. And last but not least, Eagle, you're on the stand. Where is the graphic for the Division D playoffs?
We have it in spreadsheet format right now.
That's perfect, but that's not where we want it to be.
I mean, it doesn't make sense to do the other one because the standings are still moving around like literally every day. Like as of last night, everyone got shifted around. So I'm not going to spend time and money and effort to get it done to then immediately throw it out right afterwards.
But yet you'll play Pokemon during the show.
I mean, yeah. Gotta get ROI in your time investment.
That's dollars have to go somewhere.
Of course.
I gotta save up for our Duns trip. Because we got to do a double Duns.
Oh, so
right?
hey, so
we have to make reservations.
Yeah, so next week, can we call Duns live on the show? Oh, not live, but can we call him next week to make a reservation on the show, Eagle?
For 3 weeks from now, sure.
Well, August 4th, yeah. I'm serious. We'll do it next week.
We'll do it.
Okay, perfect. Next
We
week,
got turned down at the door at, 11 o'clock, 11:30 last time?
Whatever, man.
Like that.
Anyway, is Joel Mendelson on with us now?
I'm going to get him on the phone right now.
Okay, cool. So let's just,
Gotta
in the
get this all
meantime, as you
connected.
get him up, we'll tee up the game that you saw, Iggy, with Vic in the box against Praetorian Guard.
He's coming.
Yeah,
Give him a
It
second.
wasn't competition at all.
No, it wasn't. We'll talk about it after Joel gets on. But there was they had 2 games facing off against each other. Really,
We have Joel. We
really
have Joel.
different.
Joel
Hey.
Mendelson, how you been, sir?
I'm good. How are you, boys?
I'm very well. Thank you
Hey,
so
we're
much for
good,
joining
we're
Iggy and Eagle and I here on Calling the Audible.
Thanks for having
Thank you so much, Joel. For those who don't know, Joel is the Div E writer for this season, or this spring season that is. Joel, just to get your thoughts right now as we move into the final 10 days of the regular season, if you had to circle one team right now as a favorite to win Division E, it's who?
Okay, so here's the issue. It's what I spoke to you last week about, is that the Praetorian Guard seem like the best team on paper, but it's on paper because I haven't seen any of their games yet. Series of unfortunate events. Like, I've seen everybody else.
Okay.
So I know that my second overall team was Vic in a box, but they actually played each other yesterday, and the Praetorian Guard destroyed them. So I'm saying they're my number one.
Yeah, I'll tee that one up a little later once you
You
get
can tee it
off
up now. Go ahead. You were here, so let's tee it up right now.
Yeah,
with,
okay,
Joel.
all right. So in that game, they actually played on Thursday. However, Meredith Lozon, the quarterback of Praetorian Guard, wasn't there. That was huge, because once you don't have a quarterback who can really see the game and know how to manage a game, it becomes completely pretty much meaningless. So he was there, but it was not only his quarterback play, it was his defensive play. Twice on 4th down, he batted down balls that would otherwise have been touchdowns or first downs to keep drives alive for Vic in the box. So his defensive prowess was on full display. And honestly, on offense, they just rolled their regular offense. It looked pretty in sync. That Vic in the box just couldn't stop. Now, that was one part of it. Another part of it was the rushing of Ben Bork against Nick Richard. Mo, you've mentioned it once a couple weeks ago that Nick Richard didn't look
he's
like
not good.
he didn't look great in a Brossard game, I think.
Not good.
And last night, when I think Praetorian Guard, having played them on Thursday, saw what he's capable of, and Ben Bork did a fantastic job of limiting him running around in the backfield because he's a great runner. And they forced him to throw the ball. And as soon as they did that, Vic in the box went nowhere. They only moved the ball 3 times on offense. They were all 30-yard catches or more to Max Bura, Craig Browning, and Nick Sanche. And that's all they could do. All the short game was eliminated by Ben Bork. So it was pretty much that was how that game went down yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
There you go.
I went on a ramble there. But so Joel, so you are you circling Praetorian Guard to make it to the final? How about a finals preview? Could you give one team from Conference A, one team from Conference B that you think will be in the finals?
Okay, yes. So I think Les Petites Carottes, they're the number 1 seed in their conference, but I think it's for a reason. I watched them destroy the number 2 seed Minchia FT.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a close game, like, at all. Like, they did have a player get injured, Minchia, but like they handled it easily. So I'm thinking it's either Les Petites Carottes versus the Praetorian Guard, but also like Vic in a box. Like, I obviously wasn't at the game, but I've seen them win like a lot of good games. Like they're smart players and they're athletic. So I feel like they can still win games. Also, Magnetos, they lost their quarterback. They lost Adam Malinoff, and they've still won all their games since then, which is crazy impressive. So they could also do something, I guess.
Fun Italian pronunciation on this. CI is pronounced ch. CH is pronounced ki. So it's actually minkia. Minkia. Imagine like that.
So write that in your article.
There you go. So with Joel, with Minkia FT, are you buying into their stock? Because I've watched their games and they're not. I'm not saying that they're like a Praetorian Guard or Vic in the Box or the Petite Carotte, but are they that next wave of teams, or are you not really hedging your funds on these guys to make a run in the playoffs?
I don't think they can do very much. Like, unless I saw them when they were missing like one of their better players, and I don't think I was, because I recognize the names. I look at the stats, but the quarterback play wasn't amazing, honestly. And like, I don't want to start roasting people. It just wasn't a great game. I don't know if I saw like a one-off.
No, do it. Call them up by name.
Roast.
But then the Penetrators also beat them the next game, and all like, I know the Penetrators. I've seen most of the Penetrators games, and they're good, but they're not like the best team ever. You know, like, they're a good team, but I think Minkia's stock is dropping.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, like, would you agree that they could probably win a round, maybe 2 in the playoffs, but that it would just the magic would fall kind of short?
I think they got off to a really hot start, but I also think like they played not the best teams, so it was maybe a bit deceiving. I think they can win a round. I'm not going to go out and say they're going to win 2. I wouldn't bet on it, but they're going to win the first.
When you look at the two conferences right now as we approach the final stages of games, Joel, which side is a tougher bracket in your mind as we move towards playoffs in about 2 weeks?
I think Conference B. I definitely think Conference B.
So do you think Praetorian Guard could be upset and not make it to the finals on that side of the bracket then?
Okay, wait, I'm going to change my answer. I was looking at the
Fair enough.
on the fly here.
Hey, like, Iggy, your team, you're 3-5, eh?
Yeah, 3-5, a losing record. I can only
3-5 though. Like, from the game you watched, you guys lose close games. Eh? They're not
right.
like, yeah,
they're not blowouts, right?
No, I think your division is pretty good. I think the Pillow Talkers are very good. I think
Will they have a proper roster though for
yeah,
playoffs?
they have 1 million people who've played on that team.
Not just 1 million people, 1 million people that bust them over the caps, where they're kind of in a. They didn't really know a cap existed. They only thought there was a quarterback cap, which also didn't make sense because they had.
So my theory was proven right then.
90 rated players throwing, so I didn't believe that. Oh, we only thought there's a quarterback cap, but yeah, look, I think I know what you're talking about though. They're very football athletic. They have like smarts, maybe not FPF smarts just yet. I think their downfall is the quarterback play, but their defense and their receiver set is probably the best in the division.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, that's honestly one of the things that stuck out to me the most doing this, like, the first year, like, not being a player and just, like, being on the sideline, is how much FPF smart actually matters. Like, if you could be amazing at football, and if you do, like, stuff that's not allowed in FPF, you're done, you know? Like, it's crazy the amount of stuff that you get dinged for. It's honestly pretty fun to watch.
So when you look at it now, as we move towards the final 10 days of the season, are you circling any teams that you're watching out for that could maybe peak at the right time and that no one wants to play in the playoffs in 2 weeks?
I think the Penetrators could be that team just because, like, the games I've seen them lose, they've been, like, unfortunate losses, and if they could be better. You know, like, I've also seen them games without, like, Nicholas Vaughn. He's fantastic. He's so long, too, like, so tall. They have
he's rangy, huge range.
He's like a giraffe out there.
Yeah, and Jared Boydman's huge, too. Like, they just got just giraffes, exactly. That's what I call them, actually. But they're a good team. Also, I'm also really interested to see what the Magnetos can do without a real quarterback, because I've seen them win some good games.
But do you buy into them without a proper quarterback to make a run?
I think they'll win their first playoff game. I think it depends who they'll come up to in the second round. How does it work? It's 1-8, 2-7.
Eagle, can we confirm the playoff format yet? Or are we still up in the?
We cannot do it just yet because we haven't had the meeting. Thanks, Rob.
Okay, perfect. So this pretend we don't know what the playoff format is here, Joel. We'll surprise everyone next week. How about that?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and you'll cover it in your article once you have the details, of course.
No problem. Do that.
Hey, Joel, in the background of your man cave, is that a plant to your right of the shoulder?
It's for sure a plant. This is not even remotely close to a man cave.
I don't know. I thought it'd be your man. It's just your office. Is this where the Joel office is located, in the bowels of where you live?
No, this is where my mom does her work. My office is located in Toronto.
Okay, fair enough then. There you go.
All right, I have one last question, unless Mo, you wanted
go for it.
to wrap it up. But Joel, you mentioned you're an ex-player. Do you happen to know when your return to FPF will be?
I don't know because I live in Toronto for school, and then at the end of my program, I'm gonna be going to work somewhere that, like, I get like an internship from school, and it
Right.
could be in Saskatchewan, it could be in Nova Scotia, it could be anywhere. So
So are you going to be
For your sake, let's hope it's not Saskatchewan.
SAS is terrible, by the way.
I'm ready for it.
maybe you can bring FPF
No,
across Canada.
I'm telling you, SAS is not fun, man. I know people that live in Sask that play.
I don't think I'll place, to be honest.
I know people who play in the CFL in Sask, and they go, "No, dude, there's nothing to do." Like, you know, when you score keep in Laval or Laval, that's the size of Saskatchewan. So there you go.
Well, Laval's pretty big.
No, I'm
Laval?
saying the football field.
Oh, the football field is Saskatchewan.
Yeah. So just get ready for like really, like when you talk about night out, that's like going to be like, oh boy, one block down from where I live. So
I think I'd take it over Ottawa, though.
no, Ottawa's a lot better, and that's not saying much about Ottawa.
Go ahead.
Joel, before we let you go, your article's coming out when?
My article will be out Saturday.
Saturday. And what can we look forward to in that scribing of your brain that you will have for us to read up on?
Well, I've been doing it pretty, like, I don't know. I came up with this formula, but I'm going to ditch it, and I'm going to do what everybody else has been doing, and that's like a report card, because it looks like fun to be able to just rate teams like.
Well, you know what that is? It's called lazy journalism at its finest. Report card. I'll give this team an F-.
Lazy journalism.
Lazy,
It's
it's
like the hardest
so
article that everyone
long.
hates to do.
Oh my God, it's so long. Good
See,
luck.
Mo can say that because Mo used to write articles and he never did this.
Mm-hmm.
Why not, Mo? That's
Okay.
lazy journalism.
All right, so
there.
Division E, you can look forward to maybe not a mid-season grade, but almost a three-quarter season grade.
Near end of the season grade.
There you go.
Fair enough, then. And so we can put you down for Praetorian Guard, Le Petite Carotte, and the Divi final in a few weeks from now. That's your pick right now?
Like, yeah, it just that's my pick genuinely, but it just sucks that they're both the first teams, you know, like first in the division.
Man,
Number
I
one
can't
seeds.
wait when you're wrong and those teams that beat those teams are going to say, hey, tell that writer over there, Joe, whatever his name is, he was bleeping wrong.
Good for them. I'm motivated. I'm bulletin board material.
There you go. Joel, thanks so much, man. I appreciate it, brother. We look forward to your article on the weekend.
Thanks,
Thanks,
for joining, man.
Be good, brother. Joel Mendelson here with us, talking about Division E with us.
Yeah.
So let's dive back into it then for Div E. Look, a stank of a game for Vic in the Box. They were more like a team that was in quicksand. I saw a bit of it from my game.
Yeah.
And even speaking to the guys afterwards, I mean, they just didn't have an answer to any problems thrown to them from the Praetorian Guard. And I think, as I told you, Iggs, a few weeks ago about the quarterback play of Vic in the Box, I'm not buying into Nick Richard or Nick Richard as being the guy for them.
If you're a team that doesn't have a good rusher, you'll be in hell against Nick Richard. If you have a decent to top tier rusher, you can really set the offense back for Vic in a Box. All you would need is that great rusher and a good deep safety and corner, and you're set. You have a game plan against Vic in a Box.
Yeah, I think now moving towards the final. I mean, for Vic in the Box, we'll have 3 games left, but it's highly unlikely if Praetorian Guard win their next game, they will clinch the 1 seed. But I can't see the Roman defenders losing a game from here on in with 1 more game left, and Vic in the Box having 3 more. And look, Vic in the Box is not guaranteed of being a 2 seed because Magnetos are
right up on
literally
them,
in the rear view mirror of their car.
Even Black Label. Don't look now. 5-2. That's a good offense. That Black Label has as well.
And you don't want to fall a little bit lower. And depending what the playoff format will be for E, I mean, who knows what it's going to be. But you don't want to fall lower and lower because you might end up in a dance partner in maybe round 2, even round 1. That's not desirable to what you want to have moving forward.
Absolutely.
So look, all right, like Pillow Talkers, you mentioned them right now, Iggs. So I mentioned that in our thread that we have for our staff members here, that I don't think they know that there's a cap.
They don't. It was confirmed.
That's what I thought, exactly.
It was confirmed.
100%,
Yeah.
because, the roster from week 1 to where we are, they bring in guys who are higher level players like Jared Taylor, who played Division 1.
Div E.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
And so, anyway, look, here's the thing, though, right? They are now at 5-2. There's going to be an issue that might pop up with these guys.
Yeah, I mean, already with the 5-2 record, it might not be 5-2 by the end of the week.
No, it might not be. Okay, that's one thing.
That's
but
one
the
thing.
second thing, though,
Yes,
is that some of these guys play tackle. And Sage-Up camps begin just at around playoff time.
Okay. Yeah.
I think physicals are checking in for August 6th. So, I mean, no, by then it's the final round of games. But if they do advance,
right.
Question is, how many guys will be able to play at that point?
Right, and then you can't find subs because their subs need at least 5 games played, right?
Yeah.
So you can't just pick up anyone from off the streets or anyone else to just come play for you. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I just don't know what their plan is, and it's unfortunate because they do have some athletic players, but the reality is they're tackle guys. They have not adapted to the flag football way of playing games, and they got exposed a few times. It took them a while, but I know this 5-2 record is going to probably change. Not saying confirmed, but there's a good chance it will change with the roster violations that they had. So
Yes. Yeah.
We'll see what happens from that perspective. Anything else in Divi that we want to cover before we jump ship here, Mr. Iggy?
Why would you jump ship exactly? Like,
so we're going to swim to the next ship. It's like a video game here.
Well, maybe like your ship's being like the Titanic. It was
it's about to sink. We're going to jump ship.
So you got to jump
to the next ship. It's like a video game here.
But just, is there enough room for both of us on the door, Mo?
No, Eagle and I, yes, but not you.
Not me. Come on, at least you could have said not peas.
No, PZ's also on that ship, my friend. Okay, on to women's. They had their games on Monday night, and now we see a separation of teams and who's where, and in terms of where they are now. Iggs. Right now, we're going into this week of games here. We had a 3-way tie for first. Now it's a 2-way tie for first. The Petite Miette and Red Nation have 5-2. I told you in
last week
that was that Le Petite Miette is my team.
Yeah,
I'm still not by Red Nation. I don't know what it is with Red Nation, but I think Le Petite Miette have a better flow on both sides of the football than Red Nation has at this point of the season.
Yeah, I would agree from an entire season standpoint, because the 1 game or 2 game sample size from this week, Red Nation, we've been questioning the offensive output and how much points they can put up on the board. They put up 30 and 39 in their 2 wins.
But who's the wins against? Just remember that.
Right. So the 30-0 win against Villa, but the 39-14 win against Strangers. That one, if I look back on the schedule, I'm pretty sure they have a loss to very
they
close.
Beat Strangers by 5.
Yeah, beat them by 5. I think I was scorekeeping that game in Laval a few weeks back. To then turn it around and make it the win by 25. It's 1 game. I like you, Mo. I like you as well, but I like you think that Les Petits Miettes are really the front runners now in this division. They took it to Villa, no surprise there, but they took it to Strangers. That was really might be a finals preview, and they took it to them 31-14. Strangers had no answer from Marie-Pierre Dalpé. She is extremely hard to defend. She boxes out her receivers well. She's quick with her feet to get downfield. She can make people miss, make girls miss with the tackles. Marie-Pierre Dalpé was a force to be reckoned with that Strangers could not cover.
So we talk about explosive players as well, but we'll get to that in a moment here. Seeing what the games were on Monday, I think Villa, we know, is not in the same weight class as the aforementioned 3 teams. So I think whoever gets this team in the semifinals is going to have a direct hit towards the finals. I just think now for whoever will play the Strangers, that's not going to be easy a game for whoever plays that team in the semifinals.
No, agreed. And it's looking like, from what we're suggesting, is that it's going to be a Red Nation versus Strangers matchup. So that's why that actually makes it even more not impressive or important, but for their confidence for Red Nation, beating them 39-14. That gives them confidence knowing that in about 3 weeks' time, games played. Is it 8 games this year for women's? Yeah. So still 8 games. So knowing that in 2 weeks' time, another matchup against Strangers, they know that they can beat them and they can beat them big.
So for explosive players in this division, you mentioned Sarah Maud Mathieu, MP Dalpé, and Gigi Cabilo Abante.
Yeah.
Cabilo Abante now over 600 yards receiving, I believe. She had a monster game on Monday. I think all 3 are explosive.
Yeah.
But I think Gigi Cabilo Abante is more like the Cooper Cup of this league. She's not beating you with straight speed.
No, no. It's more you're suggesting the route running.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. I would suggest that it's actually Sarah Maud Mathieu that is probably the most explosive, because whether it's catching it downfield or a 2-yard, 3-yard hook or a 5-yard in, she has the capability of turning it upfield, making women miss her flags, and moving the chains for strangers.
Yeah, I think, and I've seen you've seen them, I've seen them play so far, and I think that trio of names could definitely. We talked about last week about who can move up to the next level of competition in Tier 1, if that's the case to be for these three.
Yeah,
I think all three can, but the question is, will they? I don't think they will. I think they'll stick with their teams.
Yeah.
But all three are fantastic players in their own right and how they played. And even the quarterback play that we've seen so far, I mean, look, for strangers, I still love Jade McHugh-Thibault as a quarterback. I think she's really good. She's had a tough game against Red Nation for what she is. But I think at the end of the day, her ability is that she has a lot of confidence in her arm. And look, I know the numbers aren't strong. She's a below 50% passer this year. She has a high INT ratio to passing attempts, which I think is 1 for every 9 passing attempts this year, whatever it might be, or 10 exactly. But if she is on rhythm, she's unbelievable, I think. And it can be an explosive player for this last running games coming up.
That's a good point, because you mentioned the below 50% completion. In fact, all quarterbacks have 50% or below. So the best quarterback is probably and likely Morgan Cosimano-Valois of Les Petits Miettes. But I think you hit the nail there on the head on the nail, that Jade McHugh-Thibault, if she's on her game and she completes one pass, she's more likely to complete that second and that third, and very much a rhythm quarterback. And once she gets on that rhythm, then it looks very good. So that's actually dangerous for Les Petits Miettes or Red Nation, or down into the playoff matchups, because once she gets hot, she's lightning rod hot, right? But it could swing the other way. The 16 TDs to 12 TDs INT ratio, that's troublesome. So the minute it can kind of spiral the other way, right? One pick to Rachel Valliere of Red Nation can lead to a second and to a third, and kind of shake her confidence in the negative way.
So you mentioned Rachel Valliere. So here's a good stat for you. She has 6 pick sixes this year, right?
Yeah.
More,
I think.
That would put her as if this is quarterback numbers, she would have the 4th most touchdowns by a quarterback. She has 6 pick sixes. She'd be 4th right now. She would have more touchdown passes or touchdowns than the Villa quarterback, so Le Point, who has 4, and Aubusano, who has 3. So literally, her alone has produced more touchdowns than the Villa offense has this year.
Oh, that's crazy. That's nuts.
Yeah, it's remarkable. So look, we spoke about this a few weeks ago, PZ and I, about her value, and now I believe these are all women's records here, Eagle, for what she's done for pick sixes, INTs of 12 in 7 games. And we'll figure that out in a few minutes here. But now it's her trophy to lose to be the defensive player of the year.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Should we give it to her next week then?
Yes. Rob Cement to get the name, get the trophy out for Rachel Valliere. There's no one even close. Maybe if Jenna Araujo of Red Nation, sorry if I butchered your last name, Jenna. Maybe if she gets a 4 or 5 or 6 sack performance in both games to bring her to 20, which is highly unlikely. No, give it to Rachel Valliere right now.
Yeah, and sorry, Eagle, about to say something, or are you just yawning?
Nope, I'm yawning.
Oh, okay, I just thought you were about to say something. Looks like you're about to caw your way through. I think she's someone to watch out for the next women's season, whether it's Fall Cup or Winter Season 23. And maybe someone might poach her and have her play on a higher division. And I know it's not the NFL where we talk about, hey, this player's being linked to this person or that person, but it brings in a bit of intrigue now for some of these higher divisions to see a player like her excel and say, look, yeah, she can fit into our system and be a part of our rotation moving forward. So yeah, it would be fascinating to see how this plays out.
So I'm in the record book, but maybe we don't show it, and maybe keep track of it in the back, but we do keep track of interceptions in a season, which is Danny Demore with 19 at number 1, but we don't have
also that's a 10-game season too, so
it is.
Yeah,
Agreed. But we don't have. I don't see pick sixes here.
No.
So yeah.
And we'll have. And I think we're in the works of having a women's page for records because now we're starting to accumulate a bigger sample size.
Yeah.
Of women's games,
And
which we'll
pool.
have up in
Yeah.
the coming calendar year or months here, give or take. So look forward to that as well.
Yeah.
So right now, Iggs, before we look at it from this perspective, we going down to the final game of the season coming up on Monday at Paps. Who gets the 1 seed next week?
What's the game?
Well, no game. This right now is it Red Nation or Le Petit Miette who will be your 1 seed?
No, Le Petit Miette. They're playing Villa.
Villa's playing
Yeah.
Lipsit Miette and
Yeah.
Strangers is playing Red Nation.
Yeah, so give me Le Petit Miette to finish as the number 1 seed. That makes the Red Nation Strangers game in week 8 a preview of the playoff round 1 matchup.
And you wonder, do you show your hand in that game next week if you know in all likelihood LPM is going to be your 1 seed which we believe will be the case, will beat Villa next week.
Would I show my hand as Le Petit Miette?
No, if you're Red Nation against Strangers.
Right. So I don't care about showing strangers my playbook. It would have to be about executing it. We've mentioned that Alison Sobel, the execution was there in week 7 in both of her games. She finally put up very, very strong performances after a lackluster kind of season. So yeah, give her all the reps she can get. Call the same plays that you're going to call in the playoff game. Absolutely.
Yeah, and
What's funny here
Yes,
is
you go.
that because it's an 8-game season, you're theoretically playing every team twice and then 2 teams 3 times.
Right.
Strangers is one of those teams that Red Nation has played 3 times, and so it'll be number 4 going into the playoffs, which will be fun.
so it'll be a 4-game affair with these two teams.
Yep,
when it's all
and Red
said.
Nation has had their number in the other 2 games. First game was week 3, 19-14, and then last week 39-14, and then week 8, and then what's going to be week 1 of playoffs.
It should be fascinating how this plays out for those teams in the next 2 weeks and what they do for that for momentum. By the way,
I feel like
women's-
this is wild card baseball type of thing, best of 3.
yeah, it is
Yeah,
almost. Just to confirm here, Eagle, we'll have the women's finals aligned with Roadshow, correct?
That is my understanding.
Perfect. That's gonna be great. I think it's great exposure for them in that sense that they'll all be on the same platform as the other finals that we'll have on August 14th. So on to Division B, and
It's at noon, by the way. So yes, confirmed.
High noon. Perfect. Can't wait. So,
Oh, at noon. That means I gotta wake up at like 7.
well, I'm not on that call, so you guys have to be there for 7.
No, I mean, like,
it
because-
started at noon. in
Yeah,
the
we gotta
winter.
get there 3 hours before the prep.
If they
which
open
means
the
I gotta
doors
pick
on
up
time.
keys an hour before that. Yeah, I got to wake up at 7.
Yeah.
No,
Mo,
Brossard.
On
Mo,
a Sunday.
that was the best. Mo, the doors are locked. Did you know anyone can open the doors? I'm like, holy cow. Anyway, on to Division B. Silent Ticklers, and we look at them now. They played the least amount of games at 6 so far.
Mhm.
That's in the playoff spot at 5-1. Eggs. Could they run the table and finish maybe 9-1 and be your 1 seed going towards playoffs?
It's possible. They do have B Raves.
July 26th.
Yeah. What happened to their games on Thursdays? Maybe they didn't play the Mangoose and Brand
I
New.
believe that was the COVID-19 game.
Okay. So yeah, look, they have B Raves in the mix of games there. That'll be their toughest test going into the playoffs. It's possible. Gonna be tough, but definitely I'm gonna give the odds 80% chance they go 9-1.
Oh, that's a pretty high.
It is
number
high, yeah.
Because you look at it, B-Ravs should be fully loaded again because they were in New York City for a flag or touch tournament in New York City.
Yeah.
Brand New is going to throw the leather off that football because
To Chris.
Meard
Yeah.
because he's in the race for the Triple Crown. The tricky game, which will require Rashi Benabdikator's brain power, will be the Moretti crime family. You know, can he checkmate Joy Taylor's? I mean, he doesn't play defense, but I'm saying
Right.
from his vantage point of where he is, could he be a resource for the defense to checkmate Joy Taylor and what he sees? Because I think his eyes will be required in that situation because that's not an easy game. The Mangoose game, which is a winner bust for Mangoose, has to be a win for Mangoose because they're pretty much done if they don't. I see them going 2-2. which would be enough maybe for a 2 seed if it plays to their strength.
It could, depending on what BYOB will do with their final game. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, when you look at their team, it's not really I mean, Adam Rose has been explosive for this offense, and I know he's really highly regarded by teams in the higher ranks. But I don't like a guy like Dan Mancini, which we'll talk about later on in the script here. I don't think he's being utilized properly in this offense for Rashid Ben Abdelkader.
Probably not. I mean, how much this is the silent ticklers he's on?
Yeah.
To see 210 yards and 4 TDs when I believe it was on Sunday he had 4 TDs alone in one game and about 110 receiving yards. Yeah, that's the stats suggest that you're right that he's not being utilized correctly because he. Granted, it's Division C, it's a division lower, but still, he's absolutely tearing it up in Division C, and there's no doubt in my mind that he's capable of putting up similar numbers in Division B.
Yeah, I think so. And now for Silent Ticklers, they're in the 3 hole. I mean, it could collapse them, and then they can fall all the way down. Who knows? Maybe the 5 or 6 seed at that point, right? But now for them, they have BYB in their sights because they have 1 game left, so they're going to be done after I think this week. And B-Ravs, again, we go back to that point. If they're going to be 6-1 or 7-1 by the time they hit B-Ravs, that's for the 1 seed, and that's your number 1 seed going towards playoffs.
Well, look, they're technically undefeated because their 2 losses came this on Sunday and Monday, when they basically had an entire roster of non-B-Ravs players. Excuse me. It is dry in here. I never realized how dry it is.
Yeah, it
does. So they're technically, with their full lineup, they're 6-0. So, yeah, it's going to be like Silent Ticklers, B-Raves. That it would be their first official loss if Ticklers can come out.
So of losses here, Junkyard Dogs, they are in, and they're still in the race. Matt Goose still there with them at 1-5-1. Now they have a 3-game exam coming up here to wrap up their season. In your mind, Eggs, what's the keys for Junkyard Dogs when you look at their schedule? And it's not easy that they have left for the final 3 games. What are their keys if they're going to be able to pull off the great escape and get themselves into a playoff spot? Because they have Thorshammer back-to-back and B-Ravs to wrap up the year.
They're good. It's extremely hard what I'm about to suggest, but Jason Rossi has to outscore. He's drawing a blank on in my
Rosenblatt.
head. Rosenblatt in both games, and Joe Mayer in the final game. So good luck with that.
It's not going to be easy. I just think that there's been a disconnect with this team this year. It's not the same Junkyard Dog team before. We mentioned ad nauseum that, look, with Paul Lapierre not being there, I think it's hurt his leadership role, the mentorship that he brought to him. Like Michael Kazak is a good player, but he's not a Div B player yet, I don't think. And Roy Submergent has been a phenomenal player for him, but this team has not been as reliable for the roster change of guys being in and out. I think that's hurt Rossi's play this season for Junkyard Dogs.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's gonna take, like I said, a flawless executed game from the offense. In all 3 games, which, look, it can happen in one game. We've seen Jason Rossi execute a flawless game plan for a game. It's possible. He can do it. To do it in 3, that's I say 80% chance for Silent Ticklers to go 4-0 and run the table. Put it at like 7.2% chance for that to happen for Junkyard Dogs.
The 0.2 is interesting. You could have gone with 7, but there's a 0.2.
Two-way player of the year. We're entering that portion of the season now. I put Sebastian Simon's name in there as a wild card. But you mentioned some other names though in your mind. You mentioned the Submergent brothers. That could be your two-way of the year. But is there a definitive leader in the clubhouse that can win two-way of the year?
Yeah. So there's 2 questions there then. So I'll start with the second. Is there a clear-cut leader? I'd say the answer is no. But then to suggest that Sebastien Simon look, he could be in the mix. He's in the top 10 in terms of receiving, and in defensively he's like number 10, 11. So you're kind of stretching out on a limb. He'd have to have a real good last pair of games, or last good amazing one game to wrap up the season. I give me as a front runner right now, Rory Submergent as a two-way player of the year with his 5 interceptions, and I believe he's in top 5 in terms of receiving yards with over 419 right now.
Yeah, right now with Rory Submergent, I mean, he's got 8 touchdowns as well, which would put him just outside the top 5. But his defensive numbers have been pretty solid this year as well. And, like the rushers will never get their full due, so I would probably exclude them from that perspective here. But, when you look at a guy like Rory for what he's done, I mean, look, it's strong numbers, but I don't know. Maybe it could be Eddie Lee. Eddie Lee could be a guy to watch out for because he has some pretty decent numbers himself, 16 tackles, 3 INTs, 7 PDs, but it's one of those unorthodox seasons this year, I find, is that there isn't really, because of the change of roster, because so many teams are playing early in the year or they have a bye weeks coming up here, it's kind of slanted the numbers in favor of one or the other. And so right now, it's still up in the air, I think, on quarterback, receiver, two-way, all those awards coming up in the next 2 weeks here.
Yeah, could be Georges Garapi with B-Raves. I mean, he may win an award in Division A, which then makes him not eligible to win that same award in Division B, but it could be him with, I think they have a couple games left in the final week of the season here.
Yeah, so when we look at now as a whole for Div 2 and what we can forecast moving forward here, I just find that this division is, I'm not saying that it's lacking the storylines that's going to make it compelling, but I don't see, like, Brand New's 4-4. They intrigue me, but I don't know if they're in that top 3,
the
or
upper
they're
echelon,
or they're in that pack of teams chasing the top 3.
I would put them. I wouldn't set them in the upper echelon of teams. I'd put them, the mid-range kind of teams. I kind of see what you're saying about the lackluster storylines here. Maybe, is it the B-Raves with their 2 losses coming without, like, their full roster, so they're basically undefeated? That's probably one of them. Junkyard Dogs not performing, as to their usual standard. Other than, like, the top and the bottom, everywhere in between is kind of just like, yeah, you have a shot.
It's pretty much set.
Yeah.
I mean, Mango's still in play with JYD for the last playoff spot, but I mean, right now, if you ask me, hey, BYOB versus Moretti Crime Family is a playoff game, I'm taking Moretti Crime Family right now.
Yeah, but could be BYOB too. I mean, like, it could go either way. Maybe that's where the intrigue is that on any given night, like, any team could beat the other, right? I just to quickly maybe wrap up here. I like the Mangoose win. Last week we said whether they have a shot at making it into the playoffs. I believe you and I both picked Moretti Crime Family to beat Mangoose. Mangoose with the 45-38 victory. That's a huge
you know
win.
what? People ask me, like, if someone from the Praetorian Guard goes, he called us false kings. I go, I don't remember what I called you guys, man.
Yeah, Médéric Lezon.
Yeah,
I did. Dude. I and Peas did.
Yeah, he's blaming me. I go, dude, I don't remember calling you guys.
I think I was the one producing, and then maybe he. You know what? We could blame it on the bad audio that we didn't really.
The subtitles were wrong.
He couldn't really hear what we said. So, but yes, False Kings, Praetorian Guard.
Anyway,
but yeah, that's Division E.
I don't remember what I would pick, and neither do you. But on to co-ed and what we have lined up for co-ed now. And look, I see a lot of things sometimes. And it gets microscoped here, but I don't remember what I say. But look, Kiss My End Zone with a smashing win over 300s. That wasn't even close. But I get 300s, that's something that you guys don't have. Crowd support.
Give it. You know what? Give props to the 300s crowd. It was like 33-25 at one point, and they were still cheering on their team. So you know what? Good on them for never admitting defeat.
No, they don't admit defeat. That's why I think they are champions of Mars. They are champions of life, those guys. 300s.
Just, yeah. Not on the scoreboard, though.
So, look, Kiss My End Zone now. 1 seed is pretty much a wrap for this team.
Not officially clinched, but
it's pretty much. It's there. You're in the 18th hole. It's just a tap in, and you'll get the green jacket in a few moments from now. But the 2 seed is still in play. Now, seeing 300s play, and they do watch a show, and I don't want to offend my diehard loyal fans of the 300s nation over there. 6-2-1.
Yeah.
To get walloped by you guys on primetime Monday Night Football.
It was Monday Night Football.
With a packed house of fans of 300s.
Yeah. Chris Berman was there too.
Yeah. We're in Papineau.
As soon as you did that, my headset like adjusted itself, and I hear perfectly like clearly.
All right. I don't.
You don't think it's a true 6-2-1 record?
No,
team?
because now their margin of error is much smaller because you have one more game played than Le Princesse right now, and they could fall. And they could fall down to the 4 seed if things don't go their way and Sneaky Snakes and LP win out their games.
Well, yeah, so for 300s, they wrap up their season against Sneaky Snakes. And if they lose that game, Sneaky Snakes would still have one more game remaining. If they win that second game, that would put them up to 14 points. Les Princesses, they face off against the weaker squads of Co-Ed 2. They got Gorillas and Blue Wave. So give them for sure at least 2 points there. They're jumping over 300. So you're right. 300s have now put themselves in danger of being in the 4 seed, wrapping up the season after, a 6-2-1 record. After
I think
games.
one of their downfalls for 300s is their like 80-man roster that they have for games.
Yeah.
And it's not 80. I'm just exaggerating, but it's a fairly large number of players. I think it's like almost 14. Like I did the roster with the captain of 300s on Monday.
Yeah.
And I go, so it's 13. I go, you guys are 13 players. She goes, yeah. I go, okay.
Yeah.
I go, okay. It's not easy, and I think that's look. You'll have a lot of guys eligible for playoffs. That's good, but who's your best 6 on both sides of the football?
Well, that's it. I mean, that it's a strategy we've talked about before. Is it a good one? Is it a bad one? Look, if you have 6 great offensive players and 6 great defensive players who are not good on offense, that is a recipe for success theoretically.
Right.
But then in practice, I feel like you're not in the game, and when you're not in the game, you just kind of lose sight of game management, and those are critical aspects of the FPF game. That you just tend to lose out on the touch and feel of the game, and how to if your offense needs to be in a hurry up set. So yeah, it's just that focus has to be razor sharp if you're going to be that large of a.
Well, they were down. It was over after one drive.
But and we'll talk about it. I didn't get this. They were down 3 scores or 4 scores after the half, and they're not going in a hurry up offense to begin the second half. So that just immediately, I'm like, why? Okay, they're not going in a hurry up offense. Their drive was 8 plays, 9 plays long that got to the 1 yard line, and Kiss My End Zone stopped them 4 and out. But that you're killing yourselves. You're taking 8 minutes off the clock on you're just losing the game yourselves. Like we scored 7 points.
Well, they were the architects of their own downfall.
Yeah.
When they threw that INT to James Drysdale, I think it's a wrap. And then the second one, on the first drive.
On the first drive, first play of the game.
And then the second, I was like, this reaffirms my first drive analysis. It was a wrap after 2 drives.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close. And now, for them, they're being chased. And they need to win that last game to kind of put some gloss with that record that they have and separate themselves from the competition. Because if they fall to 3 or 4, well, guess what? They might get Kiss My End Zone a little bit earlier than expected in that sense. So Mick Arsenault with the 2-way player of the year in Co-Ed 2, in your mind, Iggy, who is the leader to win the defensive player of the year?
Yeah, it's a good question. There's several.
It's your question, is it not?
Several. Yeah, maybe. But so look, again, the awards haven't officially been handed out, but it just looks like Mick Arsenault having a pretty good season at quarterback and just blowing away the interceptions and pick sixes. So it looks like he's going to win two-way player of the year. You got Dimitri Melsbash, who's putting up good offensive numbers as well. He could be two-way player of the year. Could be James Drysdale. He hasn't played as many games, so his offensive numbers aren't as high as they could be, but he's second runner-up in INTs. If you take a look quickly at the sacks, Carlo Costa of the aforementioned 300s, it could be him as well. So the couple final games will tell if someone has another 3 or 4 interception or 5 sack performance. That could be that could end up being the final results for Defensive Player of the Year.
So on to Tier 1. I saw a couple of the games in Tier 1 with Easy Fun or Kiss My Outlaws playing as well, and Fast Not Fierce playing as well. What I take away from those games, Iggs? Kiss My Outlaws.
Mm-hmm.
I find that they should have closed out Fast Not Fierce. And he missed a play where Stephen Harperson had, I forget which receiver it was, over the middle, and he missed them by a couple yards because he didn't stop and sit in the zone and make the catch here. So what I'm trying to imply, though, is that...
And this is a game yesterday at Loyola against Fast Not Furious.
Yeah, I just forget who the player was that missed that catch. But anyway, the point that I'm going to bring up, though, is this. They have to close out games when they're in control of the narrative. And they allowed Fast Not Fierce to still stick around up until the final drive.
Okay.
And that can't be. In Fast Not Fierce, they're a team that is competitive, but with their record right now, I think 1-5-1 or 1-6-1, whatever it is.
Around there, yeah. 1-6-1.
They had no business against them. And Kiss My Outlaws should have won, especially coming off that they were playing their second game in a row, because they went back-to-back Fast Not Fierce on Tuesday night in Loyola. And they should have won that game with ease, but it was a lot closer than what it looked like in the final scoreline.
Yeah, so, look, that could be argued the other way, Mo, that they're playing a lot of these tight games. Playoffs will be very tight games. In fact, they're facing adversity a lot already in this season. Stephen Haraprasad, not necessarily used to this receiver set. In fact, I don't think he's thrown to any of these receivers ever in the past. He's gelled, I've heard and seen with Joey Notaro, Louis Bégin, but hasn't gelled, interestingly enough, with Kevin Donnett.
That's the receiver.
Okay.
Donnett was the guy. Yeah, there you go.
So
I was thinking there's a Wes Welk type of player on the that's what I was thinking of Donnett.
It's crazy to think that Kevin Donnett and then Stephen H wouldn't be a great wide receiver quarterback duo, but it hasn't played out that way. And in fact, their last game, Kiss My Outlaws versus Le Petit Fuck, which was a nail biter, I heard, 41-40. There was actually a few things here, Mo, that I wanted to maybe pick your brain at. But just to wrap it up with Kevin Donnett, he sat himself off a couple drives on offense. Just said, I'm not catching the balls. The team is very self-aware. They're more about the wins than the personal stats, and anyone is willing to take themselves off, knowing that there might be a better connection elsewhere. But the game with Kiss My Outlaws LPP. I'll just set you up with the context here. So they're down 1. That is Kiss My Outlaws, 20-19 at the half. On the opening drive of the second half, Steve throws a pick to Alexandre Bresse of Le Petit Fuck. Next play, touchdown LPP. It's 26-19. Next drive, Haraprasad throws a pick 6 to Bresse. 33-19. Next drive, Stephen Haraprasad throws his third pick in a row to Alexandre Bresse.
That's a rare feat, 3 picks in a row.
It was like LPP's fired up. Dom Lefort throws 2 interceptions in a row on back-to-back drives to bring back Kiss My Outlaws into it. Haraprasad finally executes, gets 2 touchdowns. So it's tied 33-33. Abigail Cockerton, one of 2 girls, only 2 girls available for Kiss My Outlaws, goes down after a hard contact with her own player. She goes down. Kiss My Outlaws, are down to 5 players because you need absolutely 2 women at all
that's
time.
right. Minimum.
So she's on the field, but standing in the corner of an end zone all alone, like not defending anything, not playing offense. So Leipzig, they go up and score 39-33. So here's the game situation, Mo. You're up 6. You're playing 6 players against the defending team with 5. Do you go for 1 point or 2, Mo? You're up 6.
You go for 2.
You go for 2. Le Petit Fuck went for 1. They went for 1. They get it, but big mistake because Stephen H. drove down the field, scored a touchdown with Joey Notaro, goes for 2. I believe Isaiah Allard, of course, no one can really man up with that range. That's their 1 point victory. Why would you not go for 2 points when you're down or up a man?
Well, it goes back to, I think we spoke about it in general. You guys did it in your co-ed game where on an extra point you kill clock just to kill off the game essentially.
Division D, Kiss My
Yeah,
Vultures.
you were up by
yeah.
I think it was like 7 or 8, and you said or whatever. It's not, you were up by 9, and you wanted to kill clock, right? And give them plays, and so they wouldn't catch up.
Right.
It's that whole IQ of FPF of knowing your scenario, knowing your situation, where you are located in life, and they had no guidebook to say, well, look, they're 5, we're 6, we go 2-point convert. If we drop 2 quarterbacks, someone's going to drop, and essentially becomes what it amounts to be
5 on 4.
5 on 4. And so that is something that it's still like
boggles your mind.
Yeah, you have NFL staffs have coaches and that layer of like, oh, listen, challenge the play.
Situation,
challenge the play right now because it's definitely challengeable. There's got to be someone in any team locker room or in the huddle saying, look, they are down a player. They're down to 5. We drop 2 quarterbacks. Guess what? It goes from being 4, it's to 3 covering our 5 or our 4 available in the end zone.
Yeah.
And if you can't figure it out, it's
you got to play the percentages there.
You have to play percentages. If you miss, you miss. But you force them to exert more energy being a player down than going for 1 point convert, knowing that, yeah, you hit it, but guess what? You give Stephen Harper-Prasad, or Stephen H., as you like to call him now, like he's Stephen H. Smith over here, but a chance to win the game as they did. But it circles back to the point, though, for this side of the conference here. And, thinking about Fast and Furious, not Fierce, though. They've lost 4 games by 3 points or less.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're in the games.
They're in the games, and they could easily have been 4-2-1.
Right. Yep.
And we're talking about them at 9 points, and then them probably chasing Kiss My Outlaws or Easy Fun. But I think Easy Fun, watching them play, and I did see them play, I believe.
Yesterday.
It was yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. Big part. Yeah, I'd seen them play. It's so many co-ed games I saw. It's a blur sometimes.
You did.
But they demonstrated to me that they do have a good team to work with. I like the core that they have in place. But I think they're a little bit vulnerable at times, though.
This is Easy Fun?
Easy Fun, because...
What's the vulnerability? Spell out the
close games that they've had this year. They won by 4 against Kiss My Outlaws. They won by 1 against Fast Not Fierce. They won by 3 against Le Petit Fuck 4 nights ago. They lost by 7 to Justice League. They beat Fit Squad by 6. Like, there's a lot of close games with this team here, which could benefit them, right? But if you are considered to be the elite of this division, you guys kind of roll teams here at times and close out games when you have to. I know Samuel Emilio Pachet's going to take over at quarterback with Jeremy White not going to be available due to whatever reason in August.
That sounded like breaking FPF news here, Mo, that there was no music there was no cue, there was no setup. I failed you.
You did. But the thing is now with him at quarterback, could he be the key that unlocks their hopes of winning that division this August?
Well, I don't think it's the key to unlock. I mean, and no slight to Sam Emilio Pelcha, but he's a step below the quarterback play of Jeremy White. So of
course he is.
So that's not necessarily what's going to take them over the edge, right? And and then losing Jeremy White as a receiver as well, by virtue of not being in those playoff games, that's not a recipe for success either. So I am a little worried about this team because even their best version of themselves, they were in these close games. Take away Jeremy White as a receiver, as a quarterback, and put in Sam Pelcha. Now watch the game still be close, but now the margin of victory they'll be on the other side, losing by 2 or 3 points.
Right.
That could be dangerous.
Well, speaking of the easy W family tree here, as we shift now towards Division C and easy W, they're 8-1, and we'll continue that quarterback debate because it's a higher stakes in terms of where they are now in the Div C rankings. As we said before, Jeremy White will not be available. It will be Samuel Emilio Pacha who will take over. They lost the Infantry on a marvelous game that I watched on Sunday in Lachine.
Tell me about it.
I think now, and I do have as a topic, we'll bring up this topic now, we'll kind of combine the two with ECW and Infantry.
Yes.
So, Infantry remind me of the San Francisco 49ers of this season's or last year's playoff run that they had, in which they lost to the Rams. Remember, they went to Dallas, beat them up.
Yeah.
Went to Green Bay, won in that backyard, and nearly beat the Rams to go to the Super Bowl for the second time in the last 3 years. No one talked about the Niners, right? No one said they had respect for them and stuff. Infantry has kind of been under the radar. They've not been up in the top,
Upper
debates
echelon,
or
yeah.
the penthouse of where they are. But they have that kind of Niners DNA where that defense can bully you and bruise you.
Okay, yep.
And there was a play that Sean Sumerjan made where he picked off Balshot in the red zone. And he was in the back of the end zone. And he kind of just picture it, middle of the back of the end zone, picked it off, went to his right, still in the back of the end zone, now decides to go up the sidelines.
Yeah.
He pulls out a dead leg, which froze 3 ECW players, and then down the sideline he went for the score for the pick 6.
Oof. And
that's the difference because the Infantry defense played well in the red zone. They had 2 INTs on ECW, and that's the reason why they won that football game. So
he had a 58-yard return,
pretty much
pick 6.
Pretty much, right?
Whew.
So now the question I bring up here is that seeing what I saw with Infantry against ECW, I don't think there's a team that wants to play them early because they could run the table on everybody.
The Infantry, right?
Infantry.
Oh my God, yeah, I 100% agree with you there. That's a team with the know-how to win. They made it to the Division C championship last year. They have that fire in their belly. They want to get back there. Anything short of a Division C finals appearance is a wasted season, and if take it one step further, anything else but a Division C title is an absolute disgrace in all of their minds. So they have that fire, they have that hunger, they have the experience, they have the athleticism. They check off a lot of boxes that you're looking for in a final.
Yeah, and now they have 3 more games left, and they'll be wrapping up on Sunday. They can win all 3 games, and they could be 8-2 when it's the dust is settled for that Division C playoffs, and they might be your 3 seed, if not the 2 seed going towards playoffs. And I just think that defense is tough. You talk about the roster and how they built it up here in terms of the firepower available. Ivan Desjardins has been very good for them.
Yep.
The Smirgeon boys have been awesome for them. I think also Dylan Daou has been great in how he's flying to the ball. Mike Collard as well has been amazing for them. Maybe the one question mark might be their pass rushing. Armand Bala is a really athletic, gifted player.
Yeah.
But he's got to be a little bit more disciplined in how he rushes the quarterback. I think he can be much more effective. He had some big plays himself, but if he just masters that element, I think he can become even more ferocious on the football field.
Because I maybe even question that because he's great in covering deep. He can absolutely steal balls away that you think are going for touchdowns, and all of a sudden he comes swarming in and takes a post TD away and picks that off. So I'm a little surprised that he's the option at rusher. But look, if he develops the rusher game, he has the height to take away a lot of visibility for shorter quarterbacks like Sam Pelcha and Jeremy White. So if he can accelerate his progression, watch out for the Infantry. They would be fully loaded at all positions.
So for ECW, They take out Stoics, the loose infantry. Number one seed is pretty much in their back pocket, moving towards the final games that we have here. Jeremy White will not be the quarterback in all likelihood, with Samuel Emilio Palchette being the guy for them. We saw against infantry that he had a couple of red zone INTs. That could have been a win right there for them. So now, Iggy, what happens with the overall rankings of how it plays on the top end? Hot Sauce Sports is hovering now. There, but no Paulo Della Rocca, who's away in the Baltic Sea or the Mediterranean Sea for that matter.
Yeah, that'll hurt their chances at taking a, let's call it, a top 3 spot. It's probably gonna be Will Power throwing for them, so not a bad substitute.
Not a bad drop off.
No, not at all. But then that. Again, the proverbial you lose willpower as a receiver. So yeah, that hurts their chances at getting a higher seed. Look, top season. Congrats to Sean McGrath, by the way. I saw a picture of an engagement.
Congratulations, Sean McGrath.
Yeah.
There you go.
Making use of his time away from the field, clearly.
Exactly.
Maybe that was the reason why he took a 2-week vacation.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a false thing that his arm is bugging him.
Yeah.
Mo Iggy, you guys should take a lesson
about faking injuries.
Yes.
Well,
Mo already got hurt, but he didn't get engaged. So.
Well, I'm saying that if someone can officially, announce, I can proudly say, "Hey, congratulations, so and so. I'm winning for you, my friend. I won the tarmac, baby."
Yay.
Mo has a upper body injury, a broken heart.
Of course, multiple times stabbed by Eagle, stabbed by Iggy, Paulo, Terry.
So look, top season, if they get Sean McGrath back, they're a candidate to be a top 3 seed. But look, I mentioned it in my articles a lot and a couple times here on Calling the Audible. But Blitz Buds, man, it's exactly what I predicted. Slow start. But watch out for this team as Goulet finds chemistry with his receivers. Even AJ Gomes has in replacement a couple times at quarterback. He's been very reliable at the pivot position, especially for 2-point converts. So that the reps at quarterback help him. They like running the double and even triple quarterback sets on extra point plays. So sorry for giving out your playbook, but that really helps his progression and reads when it comes to extra point converts.
Well, the Buds do play top season, I think, next week, and that will be your maybe de facto number 2 seed, depending on what Hot Sauce does in the coming weeks here. But we'll talk about it next week because I think it's the 28th, I believe.
Yeah, Thursday the 28th.
So we'll talk about that next week, and that can and maybe top season could be in play for the 1 seed. Maybe
could be.
Yeah. But in terms of where we are ranking this right now, I think the top half of Division C is a little bit more unsettled because there's a lot of movement right now. There's a lot of plinko going on right now, and snakes and ladders more or less.
Like, can you believe the Vultures are in the 8th seed? Like, they were number 1. They were holding on to that number 1 seed all year. A couple losses, and you move down 7 spots. That's that's how good this division is.
And if I stand correct here, top 4 get a bye, and then 5 versus 12, 7 versus 11.
Correct.
So on. So look, there's still the bye spots to be played where top season Hot Sauce Sports could be in position of having a bye,
right,
and then be on the outside looking in,
right, and then you, like you mentioned, you have the infantry who could run the table. You have Vultures that could run the table. What about Stoics and Ravens? Maybe not. Looks like they'll make the playoffs, but not be the top 4 seeds. But I think we've kind of talked about this a bit with even the Eagles chimed in here. Has there been a season where the bye week has been more desirable than ever? Like with the number, like every team I'm playing on, I'm hoping I can get a bye just for getting an extra rest. And
I hope so. It's big for them for sure.
Yeah.
So Dan Mancini has had a good season for ESU Timberwolves. Shout out to the name, which is from the movie The Program. But monster numbers the last couple of games. So, look, you mentioned can he carry the team here? I'm going to throw one name out there to go off of that. Rayan Shalal is an incredible player.
Yeah, we've seen it.
But he's got to play better than where he is.
So you saw the EZW ESU Timberwolves game. I saw him make a late game snag on the sideline.
No, he's lazy. He's lazy.
Oh.
I'll be real. He's lazy. He's incredibly talented. This guy can dominate this league.
Yeah, he could. Yeah.
But he reminds me of Randy Moss in the NFL, where if the ball would go to Moss, he run his route. And then when he does run his route, even at 3/4, he can still dominate the game.
Yeah.
But there was plays that he just missed on. I'm like, dude, you're so talented, man. Dominate the game, bro.
Yeah.
And that's why Mancini, and it goes to your question and why Mancini has, because Jordan Rossi trusts Mancini to run his routes, I think. Maybe he won't admit it, but I've seen it from where it was.
Yep.
He trusts him more. And that's why his numbers are much higher than where it should be with Ryan Chalal, who should be a lot more dominant, be more of an apex predator, which he's not.
He has he being Dan Mancini, 5 more TDs, about 150 or close to 200 more yards in 3 less games played. He's ripping it apart. In the last 3 games, you mentioned he's been tearing it apart. Past 3 games, 377 yards, 12 touchdowns. He's averaging 4 touchdowns in his past 3 games. The thing is, they went 1-2 in those games.
Yeah.
So, man, he's doing everything in his power to will this team back into a playoff spot. They're currently short right now. I think sitting in the just one spot short in the 13th seed, where 12 teams make it. They're currently in a 3-way tie with Beer Belly Brigade themselves and Les Montagnards, and it's those points against that are killing them right now.
Okay, so speaking of that, though, right, we think there'll be 3 spots to be had, right, which is 10, 11, 12. Los Penetradores, Tough Lungs, and Beer Belly Brigade, right?
Yeah.
Yes, ESU and Le Montagnard are there, one step closer, still hanging around. Commission by thread right now. They got to win out if they want to have a chance here. So with LP, Tough Lungs, that all 3 will hold on to those playoff spots, or will there be 1, 2, or 3 that might be bounced out when the dust settles by the time we finish off the season?
Yeah, so I'll answer that by looking at first ESU Timberwolves. They're playing the Infantry. That's very tough matchup to win, and so I'll say bye-bye Timberwolves. And then I'll look at the other team that's on the outside currently, which is Les Montagnards. They have Tough Lungs. That's
like a playoff game by itself, right? Win and you're in type of situation.
Yeah. It pretty much comes down to that. Oh man, that one's tough. It depends who shows up and throws for Les Montagnards, but just the way the season's been going, where Tough Lungs have played. I want to say that they've played down to their competition, and look, their 3 wins are against Vultures, I believe, AF1, but then they'll put up a stinker and lose by 25 points to Blitzbud. So I'd say Tough Lungs will make it. I'll say Beer Belly will make it, and Los Penetradores, which has been very interesting for them. They shouldn't be competing, but they are. They're showing a lot of resiliency and heralded at the quarterback position by Rocco Cristiano. He's like what I said Mancini's trying to do and will the Timberwolves into the playoffs. Rocco Cristiano's been doing that for LP.
Well,
Mo, one thing I want to bring up here
Yes,
is that hypothetically, I think Tough Lungs is the one that's in a good scenario because unless they tie, was it Montagnard?
Yeah, the next week, I think.
Yeah. As for everyone else, I mean, there's the possibility that tie breaks comes into play here and messes up the ordering. So I know you mentioned Penetradores, Tough Lungs, Beer Belly are currently sitting in those spots, but I mean, that could all get rearranged if this stays exactly as is based on point differential and points against in that scenario. So this could be a mess.
All those 3 teams, though, do have the lowest points against right now.
Well, don't worry, we had this figured out. Their divisional record, guys.
They also have 10 and 11 have two less games left.
So
right?
yeah. So there's more points against.
If Tough Lungs do cash in on that game in hand, and if they do win that game, they are definitely in a firmer position to be in the playoffs at that point.
And one step closer, they're technically at the lowest trending points against over those games, right?
True.
So they win one of their games, and then they lose the other ones. They are in a tie, but they would probably tie break high.
Yeah.
All right, on to Division D. And this has been, I find this division very compelling. I think our Eagle, I don't know what the numbers are for divisional breakdown of viewership, but I think Division D is one of our.
I should probably check that actually.
Yeah, I think Div D's are most viewed. Like we have the highest like fan base from the Division D nation.
I'd have to correlate watch time and like where versus the topics themselves. That'd be interesting actually.
Yeah. So this has definitely been the most compelling division because it's 3 divisions. We don't know what's going to go on yet. But a team that's definitely had their heart ripped out by Iggy Magnets was Glory Boys, and they've lost 4 in a row. In fact, during that time span, they've not scored more than 26 points.
Do you want to start with this, by the way, or you want to get to that later?
We'll get to that in 2 seconds. I'm just going to set up here. So the Glory Boys, last 5 games that they've had, I think 4 games they scored less than 26 points.
Yeah.
Since that lost to you guys. And they've not been the same since then. Are they in trouble?
So
I mean, they're done.
So they're
no, but I'm saying, are they in trouble now going to the playoffs?
Well, that's it. So yeah, so exactly. So they all haven't officially clinched a playoff spot, but they've pretty much clinched a playoff spot. But yeah, I don't like the way they've been sliding. And yes, they've gotten a lot of rest, but I think it's 3 weeks or so, or like maybe even 4. Like, are there any buys? There are buys. Buys 1 to 12 seeds.
Oh, we'll get that corrected.
Okay. That doesn't look right.
I think it's top 4 gets a buy, and then 5 or 6.
Look, I doubt they get a buy, but like that's a lot of rust, and a lot of rust on a 4-game losing streak. Where, like you said, the offense. Look, 26 points in Division D is not absolutely terrible, but come playoff time, you have that magic number of Pease's 5 touchdowns.
The Pease theory.
Right? You need at minimum 5 touchdowns to win.
PT5, Peace Theory 5.
It's not looking good for them. So there's a lot of things going against them right now. And yeah, that's not good. That's not the way you want to go into the playoffs.
It's crazy to think when they had a 2-score lead against you guys in that matchup, momentum was on their side, and then this collapsed in the second half.
Everything slid.
And then that, I was able to freeze frame it on the stories that was posted up of Drysdale casting out ball, elbow in. That is the difference in why they're maybe 7-3, 8-2.
Yeah.
Than being 6-4 at this point in the year.
It was razor thin. You see one little strip of green turf between his elbow, James Drysdale, and the sideline. It was absolutely insane.
And it has changed the fortunes of Kiss My Vultures and for Glory Boys going in opposite directions of the Atlantic Ocean.
Yep.
So, okay, so Eagles, let's take a look at the playoff.
So the way I've done this for the time being is, first off, let's remind everyone, it's the top 20 teams that make playoffs. It's going to be the top 6 of every conference. So actually, let me color these just so you know which ones they are. So these 6, and these 6. I will fix that in just a second. Whatever. No, I don't want to do that.
Eagles
have I don't want to do that.
This is wheelhouse right here, Eagle.
It should be, and because they're hyperlinked. Thank you, stupid website. No, that's not. Fuck, this mouse is awful.
He's struggling here.
Yeah,
he looks like me, like right now.
There we go. So top 6 are the ones that make it automatically. Sort order is a little strange because divisional record is once again having issues this year.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a thing.
So, yeah. So,
anyway,
top 6 in Conference A, Conference B, Conference C.
Exactly. And then it's the next best 2 that actually make it. So, right now, according to this, it's going to be Mad Dogs and Team Timbo because they have 7 points. And those are higher than all the other teams that are currently in 7th and 8th. Yep. So, right now, they're the ones that are making it. The way I've colored this is if your team is in red, so replacements, late, or ghosts, thanks for having a wonderful season. Please show up to your last games. It's been fun, but playoffs is not in your future. If your team is in green, congratulations. You've officially clinched. I don't have to do any fancy math to figure out if you're in or not. It's very simple. You clinched. And then we're looking at the other teams that are in yellow, which means that there's still the potential for you to make playoffs or fall out. Now, in the case of Conference A, I didn't want to go through all the math to figure out who's playing who and what the maximum points were and everything. Yeah. But because there's so many teams at 7 games, I doubt that Kiss My Vulture and Glory Boys and Bandits are going to slip because they're probably going to cannibalize each other.
Exactly.
But it's possible. And, the movement can definitely happen throughout all those different teams. So this is how it's currently set up. We'll know more, at the end of next week, clearly. But, yeah, the next week is going to be very interesting in terms of setting up the final standings here.
Okay.
Cool.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Eagle. That's well done by you. The color combination has been fantastic. It sticks out very nicely.
That's what we want on the site.
It looks like a peach ice cream.
Yeah. I use the default Excel color, so whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this for the audio audience. Killer Rays, Dirty Dogs, Primetime, Centaur, Fourth and Schlong, Peerless, Scarred. You guys are the ones that clinched. Replacements, Late, and Ghost, you are eliminated. Everyone else, it's up for grabs.
Cool.
Yeah. Excellent. So, speaking of that, Fourth and Schlong, they played Peerless Scarred.
You saw that yesterday, yeah?
No competition at all. It
That's-
is different galaxies. Two teams in different galaxies. Pretty much, it's like neighbors in different galaxies next door to each other.
That's crazy. That really surprises me. Not that Fourth and Schlong is that good, because they are, but so is Peerless Scarred. Like they
No, they're not.
but going in, like they're one of the, I don't want to say best teams, but they're in the top 6 consideration.
No, this could have been a shutout for them.
Right, exactly. So like, look, they both teams were 6-1 going in. So this was like a prime time matchup that you watched, and for Peerless Scarred to not show up, or help me understand the scoreline here. Did they not show up? Did Fourth and Schlong just dominate? Did Peerless Scarred throw everything they had, but just Fourth and Schlong's defense was stifling?
I'll be blunt and I'll be transparent. They're slow.
Okay, so it's a speed thing.
They can't handle the speed of Fourth and Schlong.
Okay.
They can't handle the speed of Fourth and Schlong. They suffocated this team. They literally made it one-way traffic. It was a cul-de-sac for Peerless Scarred in this game. And Jared Buck, I love the guy. I love this team.
Yeah.
Good group of guys. But he was just he was different wavelength of where he was supposed to be. And now for Fourth and Schlong, I think they are definitely the top team to beat in this division.
Yeah.
I know if, we can talk about some of the teams in this division here, like the Rays. But for Peerless Scarred this should have been a shutout. They just got a little sloppy at the end, Fourth and Schlong. They have laid the gauntlet down. That the road to the Division D final goes through them.
I don't disagree. 300 points already put up in 8 games. 169 points against in, again, those 8 games. That's Michael Caparelli might just be the best quarterback in the division. Him and Cecil Belanger of Bandits. Those two guys can really throw the football and put zip on it.
Not make passes, throw.
Yes.
Make throws.
Yes. These two guys, they're the class of the division when it comes to quarterback play. So it doesn't surprise me at all that that at least Conference C will go through Fourth and Schlong, perhaps the division.
Okay, so Blue Dreamers, slow start out of the gates here. They were 0-4. They now won 3 in a row. Are you buying them to make the playoffs now?
Yes. I said this last week. That they were on the outside looking in. They were listed in red. I think they started 0-4. Have now won 3 in a row to catapult themselves into a playoff picture. The one thing, and I'm not sure if he's officially been replaced at quarterback, but I do know that Matthew Simon was the one throwing last game, but he looks much better than Rafael Morelli. If you look at it on the screen there, 12 TDs to 11 INTs for Morelli, 14-3 the ratio TD to interceptions.
I think you have the
for
answer
Simon.
to that question.
I think just alone there, like that, Simon gives them the best chance to win.
So do they hold on to that playoff spot, though?
Yes. My best bet is yes, they hold on. Yeah.
That was a real.
Yeah, with the play of with.
That was a real. I thought you were gonna go a little bit longer. They stopped on a dime
Well,
over there.
just
Okay.
Yeah, yes. I'll answer the question. It's yes.
All right then. Fair enough. Okay. So Dirty Dogs. Have we underestimated this team and how they were one play away from being Killer Rays? They lost on the second to last play from being the top team in this division, along with 4th and Schlong.
I saw them play 2 games yesterday. Obviously, they're like a tale of 2 squads. They have their elite athletes and elite knowledge of the game in Charles Vero, in Jeremy Augustine, in Jean-Nicolas Branco. And then they have their young guns that don't know the game as much, but they clearly have the talent. Names like Félix Boutet, Florent Hug, and I believe Antoine Drolet. These guys, they're very good. They're very talented. So, what was the question? Am I surprised or what? Or
Like, have we underestimated these guys? Because we talked about Killer Rays. It's been a Killer Ray show for the entire season for us.
Sure, I don't think we've underestimated them. Maybe we
But it's
haven't.
different narrative. If they beat Killer Rays, they're in first place.
Yeah, I don't think we've underestimated them. We've known that they're a good squad. Maybe we haven't given them their due though, like their due diligence. They've beat up on some of the weaker squads in the division, but like to beat up V-Town, who are not the best team again, but they've grown to know how to play the game. To beat them 61-12, like that's pretty impressive. My thing with Dirty Dogs, who's going to be the quarterback come playoff time? It appears they've been switching and splitting reps. Sorry, between Charles Vero and Jeremy Augustine. Both have put up
It's Vero.
fairly.
It's gonna be Vero.
They've both put up fairly similar numbers, and I would argue the opposite. I would go with Jeremy Augustine.
Why?
Look at the receiving numbers, Eagle. If you go on the receiving tab, and now I don't know if Jeremy Augustine, the only games he's played is when he's quarterbacked. But look at the numbers. No, he has receiver stats. It looks like Augustine likes throwing the ball to Vero. And Vero has, so does Augustine, have incredible moves to gain yards after the catch. But it appears that the Augustine quarterback with Charles Vero at wide receiver is a better combination than Vero at quarterback throwing to Augustine. Vero likes to run a bit more, so if you go on the rushing tab, you'll see that Charles has a lot more runs and rushing yards. And I prefer a more of the traditional pocket passer with the occasional run that Augustine can and as the stats suggest can do.
I would go the opposite way. I think Vero is a better pure passer than Augustine. I think Jeremy is a very
green.
No. I just lost my train of thought. Jeremy as a receiver is great to watch. I think he's more explosive.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out of his breaks. And I think that is the better combination for them. That's their route one towards the final here, is that they use Vero as a quarterback. You can drop Jeremy as a second quarterback for sure, but
Yeah.
I just think that is their best option going towards the playoffs.
Okay. Agree to disagree.
There you go, exactly. Finally, before we get to the Div A here, we talked about Tim Timbo.
Yeah, baby.
Sleep
7 of 8. One more week to go where you
Tim-
screw it up.
Yeah, Team whatever.
Team Timbo.
Team Timbo.
I love it. I love it. It's been
Okay,
the running gag
we'll
of the
take him.
year.
We'll take him out of this equation because Eagle already mentioned that they're in firm position. So TM6.
Well, not really.
Well,
No.
They're not in firm position. They're in
comfortable
one.
position.
They're in one of the last playoff spots. That's
okay,
not
so
comfortable.
we'll keep them in this. So Timbo, La Cité, Mad Dogs, TM6 going to the final 3 games or the final 10 days of games here.
Yeah.
Who should feel comfortable about their chances of making the playoffs right now?
I think Mad Dogs should be somewhat comfortable, only having having the 7 points already putting them in playoff position with 6 games played. That gives them leeway to lose a couple of the games and still be able to gain points, because if they lose one, they still have 3 others to gain points. So I think Mad Dogs are sitting pretty comfortably, and the same would fall true for the Mighty Six. Have 8 points in the bag with 7 games played. So there's 3 more. There's up to 6 points that they could chase there.
I think Timbo's all right. I think they'll be okay there. I'm just curious to know with Triple B. Sorry, hold on.
Mighty Six.
Mighty Six. That's what I'm gonna say. The M6. I don't know if they should feel comfortable right now. With them having 3 games left, I think they have to win 2 or 3 to fortify their spot and be assured of a playoff spot.
You know what? Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's my point. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the thing is, if you go to the division standings, Eagle, and you scroll down to Conference C, the interesting question from this is that you're not now only looking at Conference C teams. You're actually looking at Conference B and Conference A teams altogether. So you can't just say, oh yeah, well they're good. They only have ghosts like in who have been eliminated. You have to worry about Lockdown, about Save the Turf Dolls, who are currently on the outside looking in. But Lockdown has two games with 6 points. Save the Turf Dolls are not a bad squad at all. They have 1 more game remaining. And it's the thing that maybe you're right about the Mighty Six, where I didn't see it, is that 2 of their points are coming off 2 ties. So in the event of a tiebreaker with not just Cité de Jetons, Mad Dogs, and Team Timbo, they now have to go win a tiebreaker against Lockdown and Save the Turf Dolls, who have 3 wins already.
Team 6 will play La Cité and Timbo. So we'll know. That's gonna play out. That's gonna play out in that sense. Then we'll have that sorted out.
You don't think they'd be able to get the 6th spot by any chance here?
Right.
Because that's the other one, right? It's
true.
either you finish top 6
right,
or you're fighting for that final tiebreak.
Well, if they win those 2 games against the teams they're chasing or in the pack with, then they're in. That's 6.
Yeah.
So on to Div A and Mo Problems. They are in a pretty decent position here of where they could be your 2 seed because Party Crashers have 1 more game left and Mo Problems here have 2 games to go here. I'm going to buy that they can run the table here and finish as a 2 seed because they're playing a wounded Braves team and they're playing the Party Crashers to wrap up the year.
Wounded in what sense?
Well, they're not healthy. They're not the same Braves team as they were. This Braves team, unfortunately, because of injuries, has derailed the prestige that they've always have on the football field, and therefore they're in a situation where even though if they're wounded, they're still a team I wouldn't want to face. Yeah. But if you are Mo Problems here, this is your golden ticket here that can parachute you towards the number 2 seed if they take out these next 2 games against Braves and Party Crashers coming up.
Can I ask the question that might derail this entire thing? Who cares? You're going to have to get your way to the finals through some of these teams anyways, right?
But right
does
now,
a 2 seed really change much?
Yeah, it does, because if Mo Problems plays KGP, which would be the 4-5, you win that game, you're playing All-Stars in the next round. So you just avoid the All-Stars altogether. That's what I'm trying to say. You want to avoid the All-Stars in that next game that you might have them earlier than expected.
I mean, yeah, but you don't even have to finish 2 then. You can just finish 3 as well.
It gives you the coin toss, though, right? It's a nice idea to finish 2 than 3.
Well, actually, if you go to the playoff breakdown, the buys are yes.
Yeah, 1 gets by, and then it's
1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah.
Going to the playoff breakdown, it says buys yes, 1, 2, 3 seeds.
Okay, that's different.
Yeah. So if you click on playoff breakdown, you'll see it.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, he's good. He's playing Pokemon right
now. And the total number of teams, of course. That
See,
qualifies.
I don't like clicking this because sometimes Rob doesn't update it, and then we're caught off guard.
But
we're like, wait a minute.
but I was on it. That's why I told you to click it. So top 3 seeds will get a bye. So maybe that puts a wrench in your wrench, Eagle.
Yes, correct.
Yes. So yes, I think they can run the
just
table.
Don't finish 4.
Yeah.
Or lower.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they are in 4 right now. Mocon more. Now I'm screwing up names. Mocon more problems. MKMP. I'll give them the win over the Braves and the win over the Apocalypse. Their last game of the season. And you're thinking that'll catapult them
to the
into
2.
2.
And this is Voice playing the All Stars.
And who's playing the All Stars?
Well, the All Stars will be your 1 seed, right?
Yep.
And
yep.
so you don't want your first if
Yes.
you're the 4 seed and you win over the 5, then your next game is against the All Stars.
Yes.
Rather, if you're the 2 or the 3 seed, you
Yes.
avoid the All Stars
Till the final.
till the finals.
Yes,
You know?
that's absolutely Mocon, Mo problems. These 2 games are very, very important for that reason.
Right. So KGP have lost 5 games by 6 points or less. Is it bad luck? And because they could have, again, that's a margin of error that's razor sharp, and they could have easily been 7-1-1, then 2-6-1.
So, interesting story here. They lost on Sunday night to the Braves, 35-32. Okay. But it wasn't the Braves. It was a bunch of free agents from other divisions playing.
Yeah, this is the replacement players for the Braves.
It was
the scabs.
How did I spoke to Charles Vero. I'm like, yeah, I saw you guys starting the game, and they scored on their first drive. Eagle, if you could put up that KGP versus Braves, you'll just look at the roster and you're like, wait, normally you're like, okay, yeah, Braves beat KGP, but then you look at these Braves, who are half the other guys? Because sure, Jeremy Augustine, William Paquette, even Julien Paiement went to play for the Braves, which makes me question, did he get subbed off of KGP and then can't play for KGP?
That might be an oops, honestly, on the roster.
No, I saw him wearing a Braves jersey that night.
Huh?
Uh-huh.
Something to be discussed off here, boys.
Yeah. Okay. So Julien Paiement, careful. So this game, interesting that. Sorry, I was speaking to Charles Vero. He's like, I don't know, man. At the end of the game, we just looked at ourselves and we're like, okay, we just won a game against KGP. That's kind of cool. So KGP, that's a tough loss to lose to basically free agents and just a kind of mishmash of players. That doesn't give me a lot of confidence in them, but of course this is KGP we're talking about, the 4-time back-to-back champions. So they're gonna prove us wrong August 14th, of course.
It looks like a bug because KGP has stats from Cutler to Paiement, and Paiement is shown sacking Vero. So I think this is they accidentally added them to the wrong roster and type of thing, and the stats are showing.
Boy.
Okay. Everything's good.
It was weird because I saw him arrive in a KGP jersey and then I saw him wearing a Braves jersey. So yes,
he's kind of like Freddie Freeman. His love for the Braves is still ever so present, even though he's with the KGP roster right now. Finally, Fred Dupuis. I know Pete and I have spoken about him before. I don't know where he stacks up with this quarterback class. He's just too Jekyll and Hyde in my books for where he is as a quarterback now. He can throw it, but sometimes those throws end up going in the wrong hands the other way.
I mean, they were struggling to find subs on Monday night, and obviously this is just a one-off. How did he look on that Monday night game when
he was competitive, but I mean it wasn't anything spectacular from his end. I wasn't like, my God, that was a priceless picture he painted. It wasn't that case.
41-26 is competitive against All Stars?
No.
Well, that's what the scoreline was.
Because Wyeth threw they got a little bit sloppy All Stars the second half because opening drive second half, Wyeth throws a corner pass to Chris Millard. It deflects off of Millard's hand into the DB's hands. Okay. So, for those who are watching, just visualize Millard. He's running a corner to the right, so he turns his body to his right.
Yep.
Ball's a little underthrown, so it deflects off his right hand, the closest to the ball.
Low or high?
Low, and then it pops up in the air, picked off. And so they scored, but It wasn't close, man. It wasn't close. Like I Party Crashers, they're competitive, but they're not gonna keep up with the big dogs. Like if the Braves play the Party Crashers, Braves are winning that football game.
Sure. But look, like statistics wise, he's throwing 5 TDs for every INT. Is that good enough for Division A? Do you have to be 6-1?
Yeah, that 13 INTs is too rich for my blood. It's an expensive date.
How much are you willing to spend on a first date, Mo?
I don't think price is an object in the first date. Eagle?
I mean, it depends on where you're going for your first date.
Well,
normally, if it's like a complete blind date or you've never spoken to the person, I want to go somewhere like, coffee or a drink.
But if it's a second date, the budget does increase by a few more dollars there.
Yeah, but I mean, anywhere between $20 and $50, I guess.
For the second date?
For the first date.
First date.
Oh, first date, yeah. But when we're talking about like a date, like an actual dinner date, or you talking about
dinner. I was going for dinner. Yeah.
So dinner date, it's a much different budget at that point, though.
Yeah. Are you willing to dish out, let's say, $200?
Yeah, whatever. I don't care.
Okay,
that's fine.
I think you hit that anyways, right? If you get like cocktails, apps, a plate, a dessert, bottle of wine, you're at $2.
And then post game, somewhere else, right? You might go to a restaurant then to a bar afterwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So Fred Dupree in this relation is an expensive date for interceptions he's thrown this year.
Yeah, I would agree that the 13 picks, that's the most in the division. And yeah, you just can't turn over the ball like that because opposing teams 99 times out of 100, maybe 95 out of 100 are scoring right back. So possessions and protecting the football are just absolute keys to victory in Division.
Yeah, he threw 10 INTs in the first 5, 3 in the last 4. Still an expensive taste to have for second date here in the FPF world.
Hey, so you know what they say? Possession is 9/10 of the law. So.
Of course. Could we call Peasy up?
No.
I want to see how stressed out he is right now at the airport.
You mean like at the airport?
Yeah, right now.
Oh, I wonder if have the lines gotten better?
Did you not see his message on the thread?
No.
Yeah. I mean, he's at the airport, and the airport's a disaster.
He's freaking out.
Yeah, he Peasy, when he gets stressed out, right? I can only imagine how he's going through right now, trying to get through customs and stuff.
Oh, it's a bleep show apparently.
Yeah. So.
And apparently, I'm a terrible friend.
Yeah, that's what he wrote.
Let's see. Is he in airplane mode yet?
Man, I hope he picks up. Please, Peasy, pick up. If not, please call his wife.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
Oh, please.
Oh, I thought someone picked up.
No, he's not. He's not.
On the plane, lol is what he wrote.
Yeah.
All right.
Could have done a call 20 minutes ago.
That's all good. No worries. All right, never mind.
Well, I would have asked him how much he would be willing to dish out on a first date.
Yeah, exactly. We could have asked him that question. You could have asked the passengers on the airlines.
Yeah.
So, anyway, tell him we wish him well on travels there. Okay, so that is it. It is now time for
Games of the Week.
All right, here we go.
All right, let me get this going here.
What division are we starting with?
We're going in the exact same order that we did the show in because people seem to like that because they can follow when their games are going to be done. So we're going to start with Division E. Vic in a Box, Magnetos.
Vic in the Box.
I'll go Vic in a Box.
All right, we're going to go QB Roulette, Black Label.
Oh, we didn't do the roulettes.
Oh, we didn't do the roulette. Do we stop?
Can you get it up there? No. We keep the song rolling. Get the roulette up there. Let's do this quick here. QB Roulette.
Yeah, it's there. Here we go.
All right, so Zachary Albert Gills is the quarterback. Who are they playing today?
They're playing Black Label.
Black Label.
Holy crap.
Black
and
Label.
then second half.
Come on, Zach. Full game for you. Come on, Zach.
Black Label for me. Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny Boutelier.
I'm going Black Label.
Yeah, I'm going Black Label with that matchup there.
And there's other reasons why, but I like Black Label.
Yeah.
All right, Brewers, Magnetos.
Magnetos.
Pillow Talkers, Cavalier de Rohan.
Pillow Talkers.
Yeah, Pillow Talkers, but they'll bust the cap.
Sous les fesses, Win Diesel.
Win Diesel.
I'll go Sous les fesses, but they'll bust the cap too.
QB Roulette, Pillow Talkers.
Pillow Talkers.
QB Roulette.
Brewers, Scranton Stranglers.
Can't pick it.
Scranton Stranglers.
Brewers, Cavalier de Rohan.
Rohan.
Yeah, Rohan.
Black Label, Les Petits Carottes.
Ooh, good matchup.
I'm gonna go Black Label.
Ooh, I'll go Petit
And Mountain Goats, Vic in a Box.
Vic in the box.
Pick in a box.
All right, women's division, Villa, Les Petites Niettes.
LPM.
LPM.
And Strangers, Red Nation.
Strangers.
I'll go Red Nation. 3 for 3 on this season.
Moretti Crime Family versus Touch It Catch It. Division C, B, C.
B.
Touch It Catch It.
I'll go Moretti Crime Family.
Thor's Hammer, Junkyard Dogs.
Thor's Hammer.
Thor's.
Silent Ticklers, Mangoose.
Ticklers.
The Ticklers.
Brand new Silent Ticklers.
Brand new.
Yeah, I was going to go upset special there. Brand new.
Brand new Mangoose.
Brand new.
Brand new.
BYOB, Moretti Crime Family.
Moretti Crime Family.
I'll go BYOB.
B-Rave, Silent Ticklers.
Ticklers.
Yeah. Ticklers.
And Thor's Hammer, Junkyard Dogs.
I'll go Thor's.
Hammers.
All right, we got Coed 2, 3 Hunters, Sneaky Snakes.
Hunters.
I'll go Sneaky Snakes for that one.
Gorillas, Les Princesses.
LP.
LP, yeah.
Blue Wave, Les Princesses.
LP.
Blue Wave.
Ooh.
Sneaky Snakes, Kiss My End Zone.
Kiss Man's Zone.
I can't pick it.
And Blue Wave, Kiss My End Zone.
Kiss Man's Zone.
I can't pick it.
All right, we're going to go Coed 1, Fit Squad, Easy Fun.
Easy Squad.
Easy Squad. No, I'm going to go Peasy Fun.
Fit Squad, Fast Not Furious.
Fit Squad.
I'll go Fast Not Furious.
Kiss My Outlaws, Fast Not Furious.
Outlaws.
Outlaws.
Kiss My Outlaws, Justice League.
Outlaws.
I'll go Outlaws again.
Les Petites Fuck, Easy Fun.
LPP.
That one's good. Yeah, I'm going to go LPP as well.
All right, we're going to go Division C. I have to look at teams to figure out which one we're at. Top season, Ravens.
Top season.
I'll go top season.
Vultures, One Step Closer.
Vultures.
Yes, Vultures.
The Commission, Vultures.
Vultures.
Yeah, Vultures. Back to back.
The Infantry, Air Force One.
Infantry.
Yeah, infantry, but it's close.
Beer Belly Brigade, Vultures.
Vultures.
That's a rematch of the semi-final of the winter. I'll go Vultures.
ESU Timberwolves, The Infantry.
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 Hot Sauce Sports, The Infantry.
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 Easy W, The Stoics.
Easy W.
Yeah, easy W.
Hashtag Go Stoics.
One Step Closer, Los Penetradores.
LP.
I'll go one step closer.
All right, we're going to go Division D. Big Dracos, V-Town.
V-Town.
Yeah, V-Town.
Mad Dogs, 4th and Schlong.
Fourth.
Fourth and Schlong.
Team Timbo, Threat Level Midnight.
Timbo.
Team Timbo.
The Mighty Six, V-Town.
Go
V-Town.
Mighty Six.
Mad Dogs, La Cité des Jetons.
Mad Dogs.
Interesting. I'll go Cité Jeton.
Peerless Scarred, Ghosts.
Peerless Scars.
Fearless.
Blue Dreamers, Killer Rays.
Dreamers.
I'll go Dreamers. 3 in a row, then make it 4 in a row.
Undertakers, Lockdown.
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 Fantor, Primetime.
Prime time.
Yeah.
Lockdown, Mad Dogs.
Lockdown.
I'll go Mad Dogs.
La Cité des Jetons, The Mighty Six.
That's it.
Yeah, Cité de Jeton. Close game.
Blue Dreamers, Peerless Scarred.
Peerless Scarred.
Peerless.
Mad Dogs, Ghosts.
Mad Dogs.
Mad Dogs.
Dirty Dogs, Primetime.
That's good.
I'll
go Dirty Dogs.
Yeah.
Replacements, Kiss My Vulture.
Can't pick
Vultures.
Big Dracos, Threat Level Midnight.
Dracos.
it. TLM.
Bandits, V-Town.
V-Town.
Bandits.
Killer Rays, Late.
Rays.
Selwyn Old Boys, Save the Turtles.
Turtles.
Yeah, Turtles.
Former All-Stars, Blue Dreamers.
Former All-Stars, man. They're starting to pick it up, man.
They're picking it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll,
I like them a lot.
Yeah, give me former All-Stars.
Yeah.
And that's it for here. And we got Division A, Mo-Con, Mo Problems.
Give me MK.
Yes, that's just one. That's one team, Eagle. Mocom.
Mo Braves, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I had them win that game.
Yeah, MKMP.
Sorry. Party Crashers, The Apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse, but it's close.
Mocon, Mo Problems, Apocalypse.
MKMP.
Yeah, MKMP.
And KGP, All Stars.
All stars.
All stars.
And that's it, boys. This
You
is
had
gonna be
a
our game of
you had a
the week.
coffee this time. You can't
I
blame
did
it
have a
on
coffee this time. It's just funny because I was like, why?
Yeah, you
am
just
I only
said-
saying one team. I don't know. My mind was elsewhere at that point in time.
Okay, so a reminder, please check your roster for 5 games played for. It's important to do that now, and this becomes a headache for all of us at the end of the year. Fall Cup registration will be opening up in the coming days. Soon, very soon, so please
We'll
keep
get
an
the
eye
details
out
out
for that.
first, and then we'll open up registration.
And
but yeah, soon.
please check your playoff schedule. The dates are set for all the divisions because there is no wiggle room to accommodate others. Remember, if you play on multiple teams, it'll be taken into consideration to make sure that players are not overworked in this overworked season of ours. Any last words here, Eagle?
Nope, that's it for me.
Iggy?
Nope.
Perfect. Magic words, please.
From all of us here at the Weekly Extra Point Live.
Good night, PZ. Safe travels. Enjoy the
night.
Mediterranean.
Good night, Calgary Flames.
I was going to go with that one too, yeah.
Flames. Yeah, I think a Chuck will be an FPF player.